Welcome everybody to today's webinar. We are just a couple minutes ahead of our official start time, so I'm going to go ahead and keep you guys on hold for just another couple minutes. All right, welcome everybody to today's training. My name is Amber Cochran, and I will be doing today's training on selling over the phone. I know Rob and some of the other people that you guys have been talking to have alluded to the fact that we're adding a ton of training to our AHCP calendar, and today is one of the first. We also plan on doing webinars every single day, so please make sure that you're checking out the AHCP training calendar that can be found on the AHCP website to look for all of those future trainings. With that in mind, we're going to go ahead and start today's presentation. I will ask that you all remain muted. If you guys have questions, please feel free to use the chat box, or I will open up and unmute people when we get to the end of the presentation. And with that, we are going to go ahead and begin. So today, what we're going to go through is a little bit on communication, and then we're going to talk about getting people on the phone. And of course, when you get them on the phone, you'll need to be able to keep them on the phone. And then we're going to go through 5 versus 50. You know, how much time do you actually need to spend on the phone with a client? Do you need to spend 5 minutes, or do you need to spend 50 minutes? Then we're going to talk about that KISS. Keep it short and sweet. Making sure that you are properly selling over the phone is about keeping it simple. Keep it short and sweet. And then a couple other general reminders as we go through. So let's go ahead and start with communication. First thing I want to talk about is the ways that the world communicates. The world communicates in 3 different ways. First is spoken words. It's what most of us think about. It's the words that you see on the screen. It's the words that you get in a text or you send in an email. Anything that can be written, it has no emotion. It has nothing else attached to it. Ever wonder why your text message comes across wrong, or it takes you a half an hour to write a 3-sentence email? It's because spoken words only represent 7% of the way that the world communicates. 7% is nothing, nothing. The words that we actually say have so little meaning when we're actually communicating with people. People in general, but also our clients. Next is the physical. The physical is everything you can see. If you've been in sales for a while and you've done the face-to-face, sat at those dining room tables and any of those other things, the physical can help a lot. You get to look around the room. You get to look at the pictures, talk about their family. You get to make eye contact with them. You get to actually connect, hand gestures, tilts of the head. You know, you get to show interest in what they're saying. The physical actually represents 55% of the way that the world communicates. In other words, 55% of the way that the world communicates, the way that you sell, is gone over the phone. You can't get it back. There's nothing that you can do to replace this physical. It is just gone, except for I find myself sitting here now and I'm doing the hand gestures and I'm pretending like you're right here in front of me. I laugh at myself for those things, but whatever. What we're left with is something called paralinguistics. Paralinguistics, which we'll go into in just a minute, represents that last 38%, okay? This is what we have to become an expert in. Paralinguistics is huge, huge. So, what is paralinguistics? Well, paralinguistics is about that tone. What tone are you using on the phone? When you're talking to your clients, actually, let's even make it simpler. When we answer the phone, my tone can do so many things. So maybe I answer the phone, thanks for calling, this is Amber. I sound annoyed. I sound like it's an inconvenience for me to be on the phone with you. I can answer the phone, Thanks for calling. This is Amber. I'm kind of trying to sound happy, but I still can tell, my clients can tell that there's still something wrong with my voice. You have to make sure that you're smiling down the phone and you have energy in what you're doing. You have to infuse it, Thanks for calling. This is Amber. How can I help you? It's such a difference. They're the same exact words, but the tone that you're using makes a huge difference. So think about yourself. Even as you're doing this and you're starting to sell over the phone, buy yourself a tape recorder. You don't need to hear what they're saying. You need to hear how you sound. Go out, buy yourself a tape recorder, and record your portion of the conversation. How do you sound? Would you want to stay on the phone with yourself? Think about those things. So some of the next things are also loudness. You got to make sure that they can hear you, and you can't yell at them. So there's a fine line between that, talking loud enough so that you can hear them, but not actually yelling at them. Besides this loudness, though, loudness and pace kind of go hand in hand, okay? And so you'll want to make sure that the loudness, tone, and pace are all wrapped up together. If they get excited about something, you need to get excited about it. If they slow down to think, you need to slow down to think. So let's use the slow down to think. I've pitched a client and I've explained everything, and they say to me, so you're telling me that the only time I'm going to have to pay that $5,000 deductible is if something big happens, like I have a heart attack. Your response shouldn't be, yep, that's what I said, that's what it is. Your response should be, yeah, the only time you're ever going to have to pay that is for those major issues. Anything else is going to fall under your co-pays to the doctor or your co-pays to the urgent care. Now, you might end up with a little bill here or there for those lab services, maybe $4 for a strep culture. But notice how when I'm doing that, I slow down. I'm in this contemplation mode with them. And the same thing goes when they're excited, okay? When they're excited about things, then, whether it's why they want insurance, whether it is they're excited about something in the plan, it has everything that they need, I don't know what it is. You got to get excited with them, okay? So, moving on to emphasis. What words do you emphasize? Maybe even unknowingly you're emphasizing these words. Are you still trying to talk to them and actually explain products, or maybe you're just still uncovering the needs, but yet you're fighting with your computer system because you can't seem to enter the right United Healthcare password and it keeps giving you error messages. And your mind is more focused on the error messages and why, but yet you're still babbling to them? If you're still babbling to them and trying to continue with your conversation, they're only hearing the emphasis, and they have no clue why you're emphasizing whatever it is that you're emphasizing. They just think that it's important because you're putting these emphases on these words and sentences, and they're lost, completely lost. They have no clue what they're supposed to be paying attention to. So the last little piece of paralinguistics that I want to talk to you about is the pause. A pause for emphasis. A pause for understanding. Allowing that, whatever it is that you just said, to sink in. Notice as I'm going through all these things, everything that I'm doing has different tones, different loudnesses, different pace throughout, and then I'm also emphasizing and pausing everything different. You guys, as agents, need to start perfecting the paralinguistics. You lose all that communication of physical over the phone, so start becoming an expert in those paralinguistics. So, moving on to getting people on the phone. Guys, it's all a numbers game. No matter how you look at it, you have to fill the hopper, okay? You gotta get your dials in. No matter how many, what your actual averages are yourself, become obsessed with it. For me, when I was selling, I knew every single day I had to make 100 dials to get 10 new pitches. I can't forget about my follow-up, but I've done 100 new dials, 10 new pitches, and I know that the law of averages is in my hand, and I'm going to walk away with at least 3 new customers today. Now, that being said, some days I'm going to make 10 dials, I'm going to talk to all 10 people, and I'm going to sell all 10 people. That would be the ideal day, but it usually doesn't happen like that. It's all right. Some days I'm going to make 200 dials, and I'm not going to talk to a single soul. But become obsessed with making 100 dials a day, or whatever your number is. Maybe it is, 200 dials a day, and maybe it's 50 dials a day. I don't know what your numbers are. You need to know your averages. But if you want to start somewhere, I'd start with 100. Make those $100 dials a day. Your law of averages will work out for you, okay? Now, I say 100 dials and 9 pitches, or 10 new pitches, okay? Well, the reality of it is not everyone answers the phone. We have to leave voicemails, okay? Voicemail every single time that you can. Leave a voicemail on that client's voicemail box. I know sometimes the mailbox is full or it's not set up or any of that, but you have to do this. This is your lead. This is your business. Take control of it, okay? Now, let's talk a little bit about what type of voicemail to leave, okay? Ever get that 3-minute voicemail, 3+ minute voicemail where the person just drones on, and honestly, you want to delete it after the first 10 seconds, but you know that they're trying to say something important, and you just haven't figured out what it is yet, so you have to continue listening? God, I hate those voicemails. And the other thing, I hate having to play my voicemail 10 times just to write down the number. And then I'm not even sure if that's the exact number that they said. I'm just hoping, okay? But voicemails, be someone you want to call back. Practice makes perfect, okay? Write out your voicemail script, whatever it is that works for you. Don't change it every single time. Write out a voicemail script for yourself, and then stick with it. Use the same exact voicemail script for an entire week. Why, you ask? Because you need to know if it works. If you're changing your voicemail every single time you leave it, how do you know that that voicemail did or did not work? How do you know if that client is which voicemail message you left that client is calling you back from? Okay? I got mine down. It was short and sweet. I never said anything about insurance, but that was just my thing, and the other thing, infuse it with paralinguistics. Go up, go down, fast, slow. I kid you not, if you perfect your voicemail, I had someone call me back 9 months later, 9 months after I left a voicemail. And they said, hey, I don't know if we need to start all over again or not, but you left me a voicemail about 9 months ago. Sure enough, sort through the system. There she is. I left her a voicemail only once, 9 months ago, and she's calling me back. You know, the trainer in me, of course, had to follow up and ask, why? Why me? What made you save my phone number for 9 months? She had a simple response for me. You sounded like someone I could talk to. So, practice makes perfect. Write it out, practice it for a week, see what response you get, change it up if you need to. Next, every single dial you do, every single lead you reach out to, you should be sending an email to if it has an email address, okay? On our AHCP calendar, I think it's sometime, I got to get some time to put this together, which is why it's a little bit out, but I have a webinar that I'm going to do for you guys on email templates, okay? These are huge. Set up some email templates. We'll go through what they need to include and that sort of things in the future after I go through and put it all together. But at least have a couple basic emails, you know, a left voicemail email, an email-only email. Left message email is just as simple as, you know, hey, subject line, my subject line was always follow up to my voicemail. And then I put some details about their inquiry and what they're looking for and how I can help them. In my email-only template was designed for that person that had the full voicemail box or the voicemail box that hadn't been set up yet. Make sure that you are sending these emails. You, again, it's your business. Make sure you're making the most out of every single lead you get, because the more voicemails and emails that you get, the more your phone rings. You need those people calling you back so that you feel like you're not wasting your money on all these leads when you're only dialing them once, okay? Get more bang for your buck, guys. All right, so what do you do when you get someone on the phone? How do you keep them on the phone more accurately? First, you need to make sure that you're differentiating yourself. And this means you're having a good intro. It's not differentiating yourself throughout the entire call, okay? Because you have to get them hooked and sold on staying on the phone with you, okay? How many times does someone pick up the phone and they say, when I was dialing out, I used to get it all the time, that someone would pick up the phone and they would say, oh, I'm actually on the phone with another agent right now. Can I call you back? If you're good, you'll be able to actually get that person to stay on the phone with you. And then 20 minutes later, they're like, oh, I forgot. That other agent, well, I guess they must have hung up. I don't know. Well, whatever. And guess what? Those are my clients. Still my clients to this day, even though I haven't been selling for years. All right, so have a good introduction. What worked for me, okay? What worked for me was following a script. My script was simply, you know, hey, after I figure out who, or making sure that they got the right person on the phone, it's as simple as, my name's Amber. I'm a licensed Texas agent, okay? What does that tell the client? What does the client hear? I am a professional. I'm licensed in their state, okay? Make sure that you're always changing that. If you're talking to someone from Ohio, hi, my name's Amber. I'm a licensed Ohio agent. Whatever it is, whatever state they're in, you are licensed in that state. You are telling them that you are professional. Then you're going to tell them, you know, of course, I can run the quotes with all the major carriers, but guess what? We know everyone can do that. They can get on eHealth themselves and do that, okay? But What I'm here to do is consult with you about the cost, coverage, and underwriting while identifying what package best suits you. Lay the foundation. We're going to talk about benefits. We're going to talk about price. We're going to talk about underwriting. This might even pique some interest for them because I'm putting together the best package. Okay? Lay the foundation for that package. People call about health insurance. They inquire about health insurance, but that's not the only thing they're looking for. They lost everything, guys. Okay? And by laying the foundation for this, the client is hearing that they're adding the value and they want to do the business with you today because you're adding that value to the process and you're doing it just for them. Okay? So, with that in mind, this is just keeping the client on topic here. Okay? Don't let them get too far off. You got to maintain control. Tell me about what's going on in regards to your insurance. The client knows they have problems. And what can I do to help? You're telling them that you are the solution. Okay? Now, when you do that, it's all one solid sentence structure, couple sentences together, okay? It's as simple as, so my name is Amber. I'm a licensed Texas agent. Of course, I can run all the quotes with all the major carriers, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to consult with you about the cost, coverage, underwriting, while identifying what package suits you best. With that in mind, tell me about what's going on in regards to your insurance and what I can do to help. Infused with paralinguistics, gives them so many different things, packages it together as a professional, lots of different options, and you're going to help solve their problems. Okay? So, have a good intro. Next, by doing this, you are being different out the gate, but make sure that you don't stop there, okay? It's so important to continue it throughout the entire conversation, that conversation, through your follow-up. Do what you said you were going to do. That's a whole different training on my aspect, but do what you said you were going to do, because there's nothing more frustrating. I know that some of the old school agents out there from other companies, they want to go, well, I'm going to tell them that I'm going to email them something, but then I'm not going to email it to them. I'm going to wait for them to call me. That way I know that they're actually interested. Guess what? You lied to them out the gate. You didn't do what you said you were going to do. Make sure that you're different out the gate and you don't stop there. Do what you said you were going to do. So, moving on, 5 versus 50. This is huge, guys. You can't waste your time. You have to make sure that you're uncovering the needs up front and you have a qualified prospect that you're actually spending time with, okay? So, what needs do you uncover? This is important. What needs do you uncover? Do they actually need coverage or not? Are they being offered COBRA and they've already reached their deductible, so they really should stay with their COBRA, even though it's an extra $100 a month? They've already met that deductible and everything's free now. Is that the need that you uncovered? You know, you got to do what's best for the client, okay? I'd only spend 5 minutes with this person. I would make sure and understand that that I'm telling them to stick with it and why. But I would also offer them all the other things, you know. Do you need dental, vision, life, accident, critical illness? What else can you uncover? Or do I tell them to call me back in December and set a call back, or me call them back in November, December, whenever it might be, when their COBRA runs out, when open enrollment, when their deductible is going to renew again, whatever it might be. Do you spend 5 minutes? Do you spend 50? If COBRA's extremely expensive and they haven't paid anything into their deductible, I'm going to spend more time on the phone with them, okay? So next, 5 versus 50, when do they want the coverage to start? If they're not looking for coverage to start till, I don't know, when they go back to school in the fall, why are you spending an entire hour on the phone with them right now? Don't do it. Be nice, spend enough time, lay the foundation, and schedule a call back, okay? Also, what initiated this search for new coverage? Are they, I mean, I know when we used to pay for leads, sometimes I would get leads that they needed 3 quotes in order to give to their medical or Medicaid person so that they could actually see how much, I can't remember what they used to do with it, but they needed 3 different quotes on different insurance plans to prove that it was unaffordable. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the phone with that person. Come on, go to eHealth, okay? Point them in the right direction. But there's all sorts of other things that initiate searches. Is it because they're going through a divorce? Is it because they're starting their own business? Come on, guys. Someone that's starting their own business is a great client. I'm going to spend more time with them. They might not have a lot of time now or a lot of money now for their insurance, but it's a great prospect, and you're probably going to get more than 1 sale, okay? These are the 5 versus 50. This is, do I hang up with them right now and schedule a call back, or just hang up with them, tell them to keep what they have? Next is, do you spend, 20 minutes or 50 minutes on a pitch? Have they bought insurance before? Are they used to group insurance and they've never been through the process at all? If they've never been through the process, you need to lay the foundation properly. You need to make sure that you're spending extra time explaining what a deductible actually is, what coinsurance, what, co-pays, and those sort of things. Doctors in network. We all know that group insurance is so much different than individual insurance. And come on, like I said before, if they're coming off of their COBRA, then they had the entire package. They had the health insurance. All they're thinking is that they lost their health insurance, but they had the health insurance, they had the life insurance, they had the accident. Come on, think about any benefit packages you guys have gotten. It's do you want, do you want, do you want, do you want? If you want this client forever, make sure that they understand you do everything. Even if they say no, oh well, they at least know that you offer that product so that when they need it in the future, or when they're talking to their neighbor about it in the future, your name is thought of again, okay? So, have they bought insurance before? Another thing that's going to take a little bit of time, extra time, is do they qualify for a subsidy? Okay, those conversations are going to be a little bit more lengthy than the no qualify for a subsidy, it's all coming out of your pocket. So make sure that you're allotting the appropriate time to each of your conversations with your clients. Don't waste the time on something you're not going to be able to close now. If they're not the decision maker, I kind of left some of the basics out there because I know we all know not to get or not to spend a lot of time unless they're the decision maker. You guys all have been through those trainings. Also, asking up front something, something as simple as, do you have a checking or savings account? ask it in the beginning, because if they don't even own a checking account, I mean, you have to get some buy-in that they're actually going to pay for a policy. Okay, we don't want to spend an hour on the phone and then get through the price and they go, oh, I thought this Obamacare stuff was free. Okay, so make sure that you get some of those basics out of the way. So next, if you are doing those basics, you will be pitching what they ask for. Okay, so if you're doing the basics, if you're uncovering the needs, if you're spending the appropriate time in the appropriate places, if you're asking the right questions to make sure that it's the decision maker, they actually know that they're paying for it, then you're pitching them the right product, okay? Don't pitch them something that you think fits what they need. Pitch them what they ask you for. If they say that they want copays to the doctor, don't pitch them an HSA plan, guys, okay? Even though they said that they also don't have any prescriptions or they don't go to the doctor at all, if they ask for a copay plan, pitch them a copay plan. When they object to the price, that's when you can switch them, okay? Because if you're doing the basics, you're pitching the right things, then that means they think they're in control, okay? But really, you're leading them exactly where you want them to go, okay? I know that the copay plan is absolutely ridiculously priced. They say that they don't have any prescriptions. They say that they don't have any doctors that they ever go to besides their preventative. I know the HSA plan might be better for this person, but they ask me for a copay. I pitch it. And then guess what? They object about price, and I flop it. I go, well, no, I can understand. Copay plans are really expensive. You know what I can do for you? Let me go ahead and run some numbers real quick. Put them on hold. Make them think you're actually doing something when you already have it pulled up. Make them think that you're there for them. And then get back on the phone, say, so, if we kept your preventative at 100% coverage, and then explain, tweak it all out, make sure that you're talking about the negotiated rates for doctors, and I bet you that they will love the price of that HSA plan. But still, they think it's their idea, which means they think they're in control, even though they're not. Okay? So, KISS. Keep it short and sweet. Okay? This is so important. Make an outline of your script. Okay? Make an outline. Every single conversation can't be the same. Everybody's different. You're pitching different plans. You're pitching different carriers. Everything is different. People communicate differently. People hear things differently. Make an outline. Make a bullet point script so that you know I'm always going to uncover needs. When I get to my pitch, I'm going to pitch the preventative. I'm going to give them something for free. Then I'm going to go over doctors and prescriptions. Then I'm going to go over supplement or deductible, and then supplements, and then price, and then I'm going to apply. Make that outline for yourself so that you stay on topic and you can remain in control. But it's a must, you guys. You actually have to follow it, okay? Don't let them lead you all over the place. Follow your outline. Follow it to a T every single time. When they want to draw you somewhere else and ask you this or that and it's in the future, tell them you're about to get to it. I'm just about to get to that. Let me go ahead and finish this real quick, and that's next that I'll go over with you. Whatever it is, outline, follow it. Done. Keep it short and sweet. Why are we keeping it short and sweet? Okay? Because if you control, you have to control the conversation, okay? If you are going all over the place, it makes the client feel like you don't know what you're talking about, that you're scatterbrained, that, I mean, it actually alludes, the incompetencies allude to a lot of things. Are they going to be able to follow up with me? Will I ever be able to get a hold of them again? How much of what they're telling me is actually true? Do they know what they're talking about? Try to remain in control of the conversation all the time. So have that outline and stick to it. And stop going through every single little detail. You are talking to them over the phone. You are losing 55% of the way that the world communicates, which means they're not hearing everything that you are saying, okay? So simplify everything. Everything that you're doing, try and put it in simple terms. I mean, if you have kids, try and explain it to your elementary school kid. Do they understand? If they understand, then your client will understand. Now, I am not saying that all our clients are at the level of an elementary school kid, okay? We have very, very smart clients out there. But guess what? When do people buy insurance? Most of the time when people buy insurance, it's the most complicated times of their life. They're going through a divorce. They're trying to start their own business. They're moving to a new state. They just got fired, so they're trying to figure out their COBRA options. I mean, come on, people. These are the most difficult times of their life in, I'd say, 85% of my clientele. Most difficult time of their life. Now, think about it. Insurance is really complex. You had to go through hours. I mean, here in Oregon, we have to go through 40 hours and pass a test. Some states are a little bit less. Some states are a little bit more. You have to go through continuing education. But come on, even to pass that test, you know you don't use most of that information. Now you got to get all the information from every single one of the carriers. And of course, every single carrier is different. You think you know something, and then you go to the next carrier, and it's completely different with them. And now you have to decide. Insurance is complex. Your client is stressed out. Insurance is complex. Simplify it. Nobody ever wants to go back and get their PhD when they're going through the most stressful times of their life. Getting a PhD is completely stressful all on itself. They don't need all the other stuff, okay? So simplify it. Whatever you can do, keep it simple. Also, dead air is unsettling. I hate dead air. How many times, I mean, I know that we all have to look things up. We have to fight with the provider directory. We have to fight with our logins. We have to try and find the perfect plan for them. I've got 5 carriers in this state. Which one's the cheapest? And going to offer them what they're asking for. But guys, dead air is unsettling. They don't know if you hung up on them. They don't know anything, okay? Talk to them or put them on hold if you have the ability to put them on hold, okay? I don't know how many times, and you guys all know this. You guys call your cable companies, you guys call all these people, and they say, yeah, hold on 1 second while I look that up for you. And then you keep pulling the phone away from your face. Is it still counting up? Yeah, I'm still there. Hello? Are you there? Okay. Tell them what's going on. You know, talk to them. I'm just going to go ahead and check on something real quick. Sorry to keep you waiting. With all the recent changes in the health insurance industry, I just want to make sure that we get the most accurate information. Just 1 more minute. I want to make sure that we get the best package for you. bring it back to them. Give them something good, okay? So with that, I haven't seen any chats come up, so do you guys have any questions? If you have any questions, you can either write it out in the chat or you can raise your hand on your GoToWebinar and I will unmute you. So I have just a couple questions. The first one, do we have access to the slides? Today's webinar will be recorded. Every single webinar that we do will be recorded so that you have the ability to go back through and watch it at every single chance you get, whatever you want, whenever you want, okay? Also, can we get a copy of the scripts? I have copies of what I've done. I know Rob is going to be going through the different scripting and those sort of things with you guys, but I can work with Rob and get some sample scripts for you guys within the next little bit. And again, I mean, as we've alluded to, we are working very closely with Rob on all these future trainings. And when I say we all have a team. There's 5 of us now that are working on training calendars so that you guys have ability to access on-demand and future live webinars. So, can you listen in to some of our calls and help us identify certain problems? I will bring that to our training team and see how we want to best do that with people, because we do want to do coaching with people. So I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it right now. Right now we're just starting to develop all of these things. So we will definitely look into that and get something for you guys. Now, I heard text message marketing is really huge. Yeah, text message marketing is getting bigger and bigger. Be very, very careful when you're doing any of the cell phone stuff, though, because that's when you have to make sure that you are doing the disclosures, the consent to calls, and all of that. So before you just go text message marketing, auto dialer type stuff, or any of that, make sure that you look up the laws on everything. So I don't see any other questions popping up. Oh, I would love to have all phone and email scripts, please. Again, we will work on those. I'll work with Rob. We'll get some stuff up on the website for you guys. We are just in the middle of developing all of these things. And thank you for your comments, Steve. When we get access to the scripts, they will be on the website. On the training page of the website, not just the calendar. So with that, I want to make sure that you guys know your next trainings. Tomorrow we have General Agent Center, who's going to do their VBA product, their accident plan. That webinar is going to be at 2 p.m. And then on Friday, we are going to be doing Agent Cubed Basics. So if you guys check out the calendar, you'll notice a format that we've done. On Mondays is always going to be sales motivation stuff with Rob, and he's going to continue going over the numbers and everything with you. Tuesday is always going to be about core products. So your major medicals, your short-term medicals, your limited medicals, Tuesday will always be about core. Wednesday is going to revolve somewhere around sales techniques like we talked about today. Thursday is always going to be about ancillaries, such as the accident plans. Sometimes it'll be dental, critical illness, life insurance. And then Fridays is all about systems. So make sure that you guys are always looking at those calendars on the website. And then if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to either agency services, if you can't remember where something is, or you can email the training team at training@ahcpsales.com. Thank you so much for attending today's webinar. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and happy selling.